Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 118.
118.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
Conveniently on the way from the airport. Never too early for Christmas shopping.
I know, we keep saying that, but it really isn't.
It really is true.
And PixieVacations.com. The Epcot Food Wine Festival is going to be for almost 2 months.
Right.
And you can book a vacation through them.
That's right. Our official travel agency and our official ticket agency. Maple Leaf Tickets, the best deals on tickets in town. Check them out. We're going to check out Epcot International Food and Wine Festival.
And I always say flower and garden because I'm so used to saying flower and garden, but it is food and wine. And again, almost 2 months long this year. It's the longest food and wine festival ever. Well,
you know, you mentioned flower and garden. There are some aspects of flower and garden at the Future World part of Epcot.
Right, and I like, you know, there's one topiary, but I always like the florals, and I wish there were some topiaries up here, but this is still a nice display.
I like this effect with the pan here.
How did I even miss that?
It's cooking. That's
I totally
outrageous
missed it.
That you missed that.
And this almost looks like a crop circle here. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but there's another one behind the topiary that we'll see.
It's very colorful. The festival is very colorful, very welcoming, and it was a beautiful day. This was actually the preview day where we had a lot of this footage. Oh, and there's a topiary of Mickey.
I call it Chef Mickey.
Right, Chef Mickey.
And this is where the Cranberry bog was in the past few years, and unfortunately, there are no samples of the cran raisins or anything.
I loved those cran raisins.
I enjoyed the whole bog. It really, you know, had an autumn feel to it. But unfortunately, I like the topiary also.
The bog was really cool. I was actually lucky enough to go in the bog last year for an event, and it was really cool in there. So anyway, I'll miss that too. What a beautiful! I tell you, it's almost like Flower and Garden Light at the beginning here.
Just right. In this one area, and you see what I said.
The backside of Chef Mickey
was like a crop circle.
And once again, they'll be using the Odyssey restaurant. Last time they used it for the World Cup viewing, which was very nice.
But I like that they had the really nice chairs, right, and couches for the World Cup. Where here, you know, it's mostly standing tables. So
right, it's beer though.
And small beer cups. So
well, very small if you get the sampler, only 3 ounces. But we're going to get into that later. We'll actually go inside later on in the show.
And there is a monorail passing by the Odyssey.
Again, what a beautiful day! So colorful. Just love being at Epcot.
I do too, although we've had a lot of rain lately, so it was nice that on the preview day we were able to catch some sun.
So here we are, we're at World Showcase. We're going to get into some food. We tried a good amount of samples.
But not Scotland.
Not Scotland. I'm just kind of showing a setup here.
We went there last year.
Right, we wanted to try something different. We've done Hawaii many times, so
we didn't do Hawaii either then.
That's true. But before we get into the food, we're actually going to look at the merchandise.
Right. This is some of the merchandise available. I like that Figment is on this apron as well. You have Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and then Figment.
I love it. I think it's the nicest logo they've had in a number of years.
And the cookbook actually looks nice too. In the past, it sometimes looked a little cheap.
Like a thin-looking book. This looks like a real cookbook. And, you know, I'm very impressed with the merchandise.
I think you have your taste your way around the world, but also they had a Tervis tumbler, and we really like Tervis also. And I think this year they seem to be getting away just a tiny bit from the alcohol. You know, it seems like they're focusing more on the food than the alcohol, though they have the brews around the world items.
Now we're looking at brews around the world, shot glasses.
But I think they're still aiming more for, you know, really focusing on the food more than ever.
Right, and I agree. All the festival booths around World Showcase, it used to be where you were able to get beers in 3 or 4 different sizes. I know you had a 3 and a 6 and a 12 and a souvenir plastic stein, I guess you'd call it. Well, now it's 6 ounces no matter what. All the booths only will have your 6-ounce servings.
But right now we're going to the champagne and dessert booth.
Of course, we have to start with dessert.
And that's what we started only because I was trying to get pictures in order around the country, so we went with the dessert first.
Short. Start with dessert.
And the chocolate espresso opera cake I really liked, although the others, the blueberry lime cheesecake roll and the passion fruit coconut creamsicle, were good, but not as memorable.
Right. I thought last year's sampler was a little better. I would definitely say. Of these 3, I like the one on the left the best.
Me too, but you can't just buy that.
Right. You have to buy them as a 3.
Before it used to be you could just buy the one. Yes.
This was wonderful, though. Next time I would get another one of these s'mores.
The frozen s'mores. And this is $3.25, and I thought it was a fairly decent size for the money.
It is delightful, although it will give you the brain freeze if you eat it too quick.
It has a lot of ice crystals in it. I wish it was just mixed a little more like a shake, but it's still very good.
So now we're going to look at an all-new country for the Food and Wine Festival. It's Puerto Rico.
And this is an expansive area next to the Imagination Walkway.
That's right. Usually this is grass. I mean, they would open this up for New Year's Eve and things. People would sit out here. So it's totally new, very lush, very decorated. They've paved the area. I think this will be something that is used for flower and garden and for, future events.
So you don't think they're going to go back to grass here?
No, I think this is a permanent little pavilion now.
I don't know. They seem to go back to grass at other places, so it'll be interesting to see.
You could be right. Who knows? But they really went into great detail. You have all sorts of history of Puerto Rico. I mean, I think they did a very nice job, and I took the time to really look at all this stuff. Again, it kind of reminds me of Flower and Garden, and I love Flower and Garden, so how can you go wrong?
So do I.
Especially when they throw food also, so you get food and Flower and Garden.
And so here we are. We were about to get a bite to eat. We ended up getting... Oh, this we did not try.
We did not try this, but we are warned against it.
That's pretty strong. But there were plantains, and we were told they said, our friend said that it tasted like it was under a heat lamp.
Right, so that sort of, we took their advice, but we did try the beef, and the beef was good, although I think it could have used a bit more spice, a little more flavor.
I don't particularly like having this salad in a cone. No, you ended up asking for a tray.
Right.
It's kind of hard to eat salad that way. I mean, and if you were trying with a fork at the end, you wouldn't be able to get anything out.
It's a nice presentation, but it is not very user-friendly. So if you just ask for another tray like the beef tray, I poured it in there, and it was nice and easy to eat.
Right. It was slow braised beef with Puerto Rico grown rice and Caribbean conch salad with onion, tomato, and cilantro.
Right. And what did you think of the beef?
I thought it was good. It's a tomato base, but it isn't something that I would probably get again.
Right. Agreed. Okay, well, moving on, we're just taking a look at some of the more picturesque booths here.
Greece is always very popular.
Right, and so is Canada with their cheese soup, although I hear the cheese soup is down to thimble size.
That's what everybody's telling us. It's so small, such a small portion.
The shrinkage of the food and wine portions.
Well, some of the portions we had were actually pretty good, but Canadian cheddar cheese soup we heard was not.
Yeah, Africa was a very good pour.
On the beef.
Pour of beef. Anyway, we're going to go to France now. This was probably our favorite item we had in the entire day.
And it was not a bad portion size. We always sort of look at what's being given before we order anything. Right. And this was a wheat pasta gratin with mushrooms and cheese for $4.95. And inside, the mushrooms were fantastic. So delicious.
I didn't think this was going to be that great. I just thought, let's give it a shot. And it worked. It just worked.
I would have never ordered it had a friend not said that was her favorite item.
Absolutely. So, we were really tipped off on this one.
And I love mushrooms. And it doesn't look like there's mushrooms inside, but there's plenty of them.
Next time, we will do a cut.
I know, we should have cut it.
We needed to show the interior.
And then at Brazil,
all new.
This is all new as well. And this area has been used before for special areas during the Food and Wine Festival.
Right.
And we ended up getting Brazilian cheese bread here.
Now, it doesn't sound very exciting until you have this cheese bread. It was wonderful.
Somebody asked me if it was like fogo de chao, and the answer is yes. Not exactly. I thought it was a little softer.
It's somewhat like fogo, but there's more cheese. It's a thicker, more cheesier cheese bread than fogo.
I thought it was a little softer of the bread.
Yeah.
And we had to wait a few minutes, but it came out piping hot, and we spent like 5 minutes on photos, and it was still piping hot.
And this area is actually very relaxing. Again, the whole colorful theme of the year. It was just it's a very nice little pavilion that they built.
I think so too, and it's nice having seats. Not that I usually need a seat, but guests don't always want to stand at tables.
Although, good luck getting seats when the actual festival starts. I hear it's very crowded now.
Well, it was crowded on the first day when I ran in. Even at 11 a.m., it was starting to get crowded. So hopefully they can throw in some more tables and chairs around World Showcase.
Right, and if you're ever down here when they have the preview, it's really the best day of the whole festival because it's not crowded. It's a delightful time to check out the booths.
Right, they call it a cast member preview, and it's certainly my favorite day to go.
Now, you went back the following day, the official opening day, which was much more crowded and had the beef kefta.
Right, and that is one of my favorite items at the Food and Wine Festival, and has been for years, although they seem to give you less beef now and more of the stuff inside. But it is still very good, and I'm glad that I got it.
Still one of your favorites, because I know you said, let's get that when we were there for the preview, but we wanted to try some new things. There was limited stomach room.
You had some things that weren't new, though.
Well, that's true. You're right. The kimchi dog. I
really
couldn't resist.
I really like the kefta. And here we are at Japan, but we're heading there's the Eat to the Beat concert schedule. No Rick Springfield anymore. That changed a few weeks back.
Well, he's actually being in a movie.
Right.
So he canceled his whole tour.
Right, he canceled the tour, and he is my favorite performer, so that was very disappointing. But I look forward to Night Ranger, which is another of our favorites here.
We love Night Ranger. We're going to miss Starship. I think we have plans when they're going to be there, but...
and we always see them for Food and Wine and Flower and Garden.
And here is the America. Hops and barley. And we
didn't buy anything here. We heard the carrot cake was good, but a friend of ours had the beef slider and said it was a little bland.
Right.
But you never know, like one person's bland can be somebody else's, very spicy or very seasoned.
Right. Again, we are sort of going for the new, and we had limited stomach room, so.
Yeah, we end up spending here is the Chase Lounge.
Right. This was not open on the preview day, but you went back the next day mainly to do the Chase Lounge and to do the Festival Center.
Right. I ran around Epcot for about 1 hour. If you have a Chase card, you can come up here, and they have free Freestyle drinks.
There's the Freestyle. Love the Freestyle.
Yes. I like the peach Sprite.
Mr. Pibb.
And then they have tea and coffee. And it's really just a nice, relaxing area. This is a VIP lounge at the American Adventure Pavilion. You have a great view of Spaceship Earth, which I forgot to take a picture of.
And this is new. Last year, they did not have the video game display.
Yeah, and it's not just a display, but you actually get to play it.
Disney Infinity, very popular. I see the little characters right there.
Right, there were guests playing it. And this is a charging station area. I'm always surprised when guests don't bring around their own little portable chargers, because it's so much more convenient being able to do it on the run.
It almost looked like a vending machine.
I know, you didn't know what it was when you saw the picture.
Absolutely. It's very beautiful, by the way, in this lounge.
I really enjoy it. And you don't have to just be a Disney Visa card holder, but any Chase card, I believe, can go up there.
What are those TVs showing?
Those are just Chase commercials. But I want to mention, we were sitting in that room last year when they had Happy Half Hour, which I was told they were going to do it again.
I remember that.
They just gave out tickets for free drinks.
Yeah, free beer or wine. It was very nice.
Right, and I was told they would do it again. It's just random, and it's maybe several days per week. I'm not sure how often. They didn't know, but it's really nice, a little bonus.
And as you can see here, the festival has also arrived in Germany, in the train village.
Right, this is the train display. Not everything was up yet. I think there'll be quite a bit more. I don't want to say quite a bit more, but some of the booths and such usually are displayed here.
I bet they won't have that little cranberry bog this year.
No, I don't think they'll have that, unfortunately. But all the festivals, and all the, like for Christmas, they'll decorate for Christmas. And
right.
It's really a fun little detailed display.
In Germany, we always have a great time. We always love Germany. And of course, a tradition for us, first day of the festival, is I always get the bratwurst.
Right. Like, I like the kefta, and that's something that I like to have every year, and you like to have the bratwurst.
But we added to it this year. We also had a little, sort of like a donut type thing.
Well, it's called a Berliner yeast donut with apricot jam.
Oh boy, that was good. First, a quick look at the bratwurst. It's a little small again. It seems to shrink every year.
It used to be huge in that bun, and then it's just a small little donut, which was very good. And I'm not even sure what this is. Some friends of ours put that there for photos.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is either. But,
it didn't look good, actually. I probably wouldn't try that one.
So I'm going to actually show a picture of me with the bratwurst to see. I mean, you can see how the size of my hand, how small that thing really is.
It wasn't tiny, but it is much smaller than it was the first year.
Quite the opposite in Africa, though.
Right. I was noticing they were giving out really good spoonfuls of the beef tenderloin tips. And look at that. It was $4.50 for this, and less expensive than the bratwurst. And you had all this beef tenderloin, and those are little jalapenos, which I don't eat, or else I'm like, ah. And then pap underneath it. It was delicious, and I thought...
It really was. It was maybe my second favorite item of the festival this year.
I don't think that they are going to usually be giving this kind of sample out
well,
for
see,
that.
You just happened to notice she was giving a good scoop.
And
they'll probably teach her the correct way by she's probably already learned to happen that scoop.
I always get it anyway, but it was nice to have a little extra.
Another tradition for me, South Korea, I had to have the kimchi dog. Oh boy, yummy, yum, yum.
I didn't try that.
You never do.
I don't. It doesn't look that tasty to me.
It's delightful and
don't think
spicy
so.
and tasty and good.
What is it that you like about it?
I like the spice, the kimchi sauce, whatever you call it. It's just good.
I don't know that I'd like a spicy hot dog. I like my hot dogs when I get a regular hot dog, just plain.
I know. And I actually know you enough to say you would not like this.
Well, you don't know 100%, but
you never know.
Probably not.
So this was quite the interesting place, the Farm Fresh. Everybody was looking at the yard bird, and people were walking by, and they were like, "Is it pigeon? You know, what kind of bird?"
They didn't say that,
yes,
did they?
I've heard regular guests saying, "What kind of bird is it? Pheasant?" It is chicken.
Right, and it doesn't look like it, but it was so close to storming at this point.
It was an odd-looking chicken, though.
Yeah, I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't really know from the pictures that I had seen on Instagram already what it was.
And I asked them to put the very spicy habanero sauce on the side, so they put it on the side of the chicken rather than a side of it in a little cup. So for you, when you first tried it, you were like, that's too hot.
Well, you went off to get napkins or something, and you didn't tell me there was habanero sauce in there. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, now you can see the storm clouds.
Right, the storm clouds were coming. So what do? Craft beer booth.
Right, and
although we had not any craft beer.
I had wanted to go to the China booth. We had heard something good about that, but next time.
Well, because the line, it was really long.
Right, and it was so dark out.
Right.
So we headed to the craft beer booth, or to the building, the Odyssey, and we actually met friends in here who we didn't know they were here, and they had gotten some beer.
Right, and I probably would have tried it, except for we had plans that night, and I just, I didn't really want to be drinking beer.
And I don't drink beer, so...
Right. Otherwise, I would have given their sample a try. Although it's very small, you only get 4 3-ounce little tiny cups for about $10.50, something like that. So it seemed to be that's a 12-ounce beer for $10. That's a lot of money.
Well, I mean, everybody we talked to who drank beer that day were very disappointed in the portion size for the amount of money. So
now, I was not disappointed in the theming, though, of the Odyssey. They went all out. I mean, they have all kinds of beer. This is on the wall here, all the different descriptions of beer. I mean, it's just amazing how much effort they put in to make this a really nice actual pavilion.
Right, and I like that, again, I like that it's open. The Odyssey is someplace I went as a kid, and it's nice to be able to go in there again.
So luckily we were talking to my friend Max, and he did show us his craft beer sample. He got craft beer flight number 2, and we're about to see, I can actually demonstrate the portion sizes here. And here they are. They're it's actually hard to get a good realization, but what I did is they also give you a little cup of snacks with every beer. The cup of snacks is bigger than the beer.
And the beer, there was a little more beer in there than that.
Not
he drank
much
a little
more.
bit.
Not much. That is actual size.
Well, he did drink a little bit, but it's just showing the cup being very small. And here's the festival center. Jeff was not there with me, but I ran around Epcot. I was probably there an hour and hit a few places.
Right.
And the festival center is someplace that we like to go to. I believe they have some free seminars this year too. So, when we have a chance, we're definitely going to check that out. They gave out these transition they go in your glasses, so they're trials. So
very nice.
I want to get some more. Maybe I can put on my glasses.
Yes. And Intermissions always has, every year it sort of expands their offerings.
And they usually have some pretty good food. Here we have employees from Ghirardelli, right? And they were giving out samples. But this is my favorite part of the festival center, is these chocolate displays. We always love the different displays from the bakers around Walt Disney World.
And this is just fantastic.
It's all chocolate.
Beautiful.
Look at that. Look at Ursula in chocolate. And I believe there's 6 total displays. And this is a 7 Dwarfs Mine Train. And it includes Dopey. You can see Dopey over there.
Yeah, you did a great job. Very nice pictures. And it looks like everything is edible. It looks like it's all candy
chocolate
or chocolate or some kind of thing.
And then this is a Toy Story one. And I think these have the best of the little figures like Buzz Lightyear and Woody. They're small, so I think it's hard to really form them and mold them. And look at lots of eyebrows.
It reminds me of the Easter eggs they have at the Grand Floridian in a way.
Mm-hmm. And the Grand Floridian has one of these. They have the bears, and I like the Maleficent. And here's Avatar.
Very
Maleficent
nice.
Probably got the most likes on my Instagram. And here, this one is from the Grand Floridian. and that is Disney Nature Bears.
I think you did a great job with all the details, and they did a great job making these really nice detailed chocolate.
Right, and again, my favorite area, I still haven't tried that Ghirardelli drinking chocolate, and I want to do that.
Oh yeah, and look, Rose Regali, your
My favorite.
Yes, and at that point, the storm was a-coming, so we got the heck out of there right in the nick of time.
Right, it stormed and rained all night long into the next day.
Here's one last look at the thank you for visiting sign.
I like all the sparkles. It looks nice.
Yeah, almost like fiber optics. Very
Right.
nicely lit. Again, color seems to be the theme of this year's festival.
Right, and now I also stopped at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I ran in to pick something up, and I noticed that the Legends of Hollywood shop is now fully frozen.
Fully frozen. It's amazing how quick this happened. Oh, look at this. The window display has changed to Olaf in the snow.
And each of the posters, like this one has Olaf, and it says Fun and Laughs with Hollywood's newest star, and then you have Elsa, only an act of true love will thaw a freezing heart. And so it's funny because on Instagram, like half of the people love it and half are like, oh, more Frozen.
It's so true. It's very divisive now, all the Frozen stuff. You know, some people are just really sick of it, and other people just love it to death, and they just can't wait for more.
Right, and I love Frozen. I think it's getting to be a bit too much, but I believe this is actually replacing, like, the Wandering Oakens area.
Correct.
So it's not like there's going to be maybe 2 stores.
Right, and I think the ice skating is going in the former exit of the tram tour, where the AFI,
Oh, is that true?
AFI used to be. That's true.
Okay, and you can see a little bit of, you know, what the park looks like there, and there's Anna and Elsa portraits, so it looks like they're digging in for a long stay in this store.
Digging in is right. Look at all
Kristoff.
those Olafs, and Kristoff is looking on. All kinds of merchandise for Frozen.
And I have a feeling I've seen in Disneyland Paris photos that there's a lot of Frozen merchandise that we haven't seen here yet. And I have
with
a feeling
Santa hats. Yes, Olaf with the Santa hat.
And also Sven with Santa type stuff. So I have a feeling that stuff's coming here
This
too.
will be the Christmas of Frozen.
I do believe that is true. I have a feeling we'll see a lot.
Now, is this a Jim Shore piece here?
It looks like it. It doesn't say it on the outside that I saw, but it does look like a Jim Shore.
This is a spectacular display for Frozen magic bands.
This is behind the cashier, and there was another one behind the other cashier.
So you could spend $20 or $30 on your special Frozen band. I think they're limited.
And these are new press pennies. We haven't seen these press pennies before. We have Frozen press pennies, but none of those.
Right. So, yes, Frozen has arrived at Hollywood Studios, and you know what? That's another show.
It already arrived. It's just expanded.
Well, you're right. They have expanded at Hollywood Studios.
Thanks to pixievacations.com. Check them out for your Disney vacation.
Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency, the best deals on tickets in town, and Theme Park Connection.
They are our original sponsor. Thank you very much for listening.
So that's another show, and we will see you all next week, and have a great week.
Have a great week.